International business represents the global exchange of goods, services, and capital across national borders. This intricate global landscape is not a free-for-all, it is meticulously governed by a complex and ever-evolving web of regulations. These rules are fundamental to the functioning of the global economy. The primary purpose of these regulations is multifaceted. They are designed to ensure fair trade practices among nations, preventing exploitation and promoting equitable competition. Furthermore, they serve to protect the national interests of all participating countries, safeguarding their economies and citizens. These regulations also manage the inherent complexities of cross-border transactions. Without them, the sheer volume and diversity of international dealings would lead to chaos and instability. For any company aspiring to expand its operations internationally, a deep understanding of these regulations is not merely beneficial, but absolutely crucial for success and sustainability. Trade policies form the very core of international business regulations. They encompass various mechanisms specifically designed to control and direct the flow of goods and services across borders. These policies are powerful tools used by governments to shape their economic relationships with other nations. Key components of trade policies include tariffs. Tariffs are essentially taxes levied on imported goods, making them more expensive for domestic consumers. They directly impact the pricing of goods in the local market and significantly affect the competitiveness of foreign products against domestic alternatives. Another critical component is quotas. Quotas impose specific limits on the quantity of certain goods that can be imported into a country. These restrictions directly influence supply dynamics within a market, which in turn affects demand and pricing for those particular goods. Trade agreements represent formal pacts established between two or more nations, or even entire economic blocs. Organizations like the World Trade Organization, or WTO, play a pivotal role in facilitating these agreements. Their primary aim is to reduce trade barriers, such as tariffs and quotas, and foster freer trade among member nations, promoting economic integration. Legal and regulatory frameworks constitute another vital pillar, though they vary significantly from one country to another. These frameworks cover a diverse array of legal aspects pertinent to business operations within a specific jurisdiction. Companies must navigate these differences carefully. Contract law, for instance, governs agreements and transactions, defining the rights and obligations of parties involved. Understanding local contract law is essential for drafting enforceable agreements and resolving disputes effectively. Intellectual property, or IP, rights are crucial for safeguarding innovations and creative works. These rights protect everything from patents and trademarks to copyrights. For businesses, protecting their intellectual property is paramount to maintaining a competitive edge and securing their investments in research and development. However, the level of IP protection can vary dramatically across different jurisdictions. What is protected in one country might not be in another, or the enforcement mechanisms might differ significantly. This necessitates that businesses adapt their intellectual property strategies to each market they enter, ensuring adequate protection wherever they operate. Labor standards also fall under legal frameworks, encompassing regulations concerning employment. These laws dictate the minimum conditions and rights afforded to workers. Companies must adhere to these local standards to ensure ethical and legal employment practices. Navigating these diverse legal and regulatory frameworks is essential for companies. It ensures compliance with local laws, which in turn helps in avoiding costly legal disputes and severe penalties. A proactive approach to understanding these differences is key to smooth international operations. Financial regulations play a critical role in managing monetary flows across borders. These rules directly impact a company's financial operations, influencing how money can be moved, invested, and repatriated internationally. Understanding them is vital for financial planning. Currency exchange controls are a significant aspect of financial regulations. These are restrictions imposed by governments on the conversion of their domestic currency into foreign currencies, or vice versa. Such controls can limit a company's ability to conduct international transactions freely. Capital flow restrictions are another important element. These limitations dictate how much money can be moved into or out of a country. They can affect foreign direct investment, portfolio investments, and other cross-border financial movements, impacting a company's investment strategies. Tax laws are particularly complex in an international context. Regulations governing corporate taxation vary widely from country to country, creating a challenging landscape for businesses. Companies must navigate a maze of different tax rates, deductions, and reporting requirements. This often requires a deep understanding of international tax treaties, which are agreements between countries designed to prevent double taxation and facilitate tax cooperation. Without careful planning, businesses face the significant risk of having their profits taxed twice, once in the host country and again in their home country. These financial regulations collectively impact a company's ability to transfer funds internationally, which is crucial for operational efficiency. They also affect the repatriation of profits back to the home country, a key consideration for investors. Ultimately, these regulations dictate how effectively a company can manage its overall financial operations on a global scale. Environmental regulations are increasingly important in global business operations. As awareness of climate change and ecological impact grows, companies are expected to adhere to specific environmental standards in every country they operate. These standards are designed to minimize pollution, conserve resources, and promote sustainable practices. The stringency and scope of these environmental standards can vary significantly across different countries and regions. What is permissible in one nation might be strictly prohibited in another. Businesses must conduct thorough due diligence to understand and comply with local environmental laws. Failure to comply with environmental regulations can lead to severe consequences. Companies may face hefty financial fines, which can significantly impact their profitability. Beyond monetary penalties, non-compliance can also result in significant reputational damage, eroding public trust and consumer loyalty. Labor laws dictate the conditions and rights of employees within a specific jurisdiction. These regulations are designed to protect workers and ensure fair employment practices. They are a critical consideration for any company establishing operations in a new country. These laws cover a wide range of aspects, including working conditions, such as safety standards and maximum working hours. They also specify minimum wages, ensuring employees receive fair compensation for their labor. Furthermore, labor laws outline employee rights and benefits, such as vacation time, sick leave, and Social Security contributions. Businesses must adapt their employment practices to comply with these local labor regulations. This often means adjusting hiring processes, compensation structures, and workplace policies to align with the host country's legal requirements. Understanding and respecting these laws is essential for maintaining a positive and compliant workforce. Political and economic stability significantly influence the overall regulatory environment in any given country. A stable environment typically offers predictable regulations, fostering business confidence and investment. Conversely, instability introduces considerable uncertainty and risk. Several factors can create this uncertainty and increase business risk. Political instability, for example, stemming from frequent government changes, civil unrest, or geopolitical tensions, can lead to sudden shifts in policy and regulation. Such changes can disrupt operations and invalidate previous business strategies. Corruption within governmental or business sectors is another major destabilizing factor. It can undermine the rule of law, create unfair competition, and lead to unpredictable enforcement of regulations. This environment makes it difficult for businesses to operate transparently and ethically. Economic fluctuations, such as recessions, periods of high inflation, or currency crises, also contribute to instability. These economic shifts can prompt governments to introduce new regulations, alter existing ones, or impose emergency measures that directly impact business operations and profitability. Companies must carefully assess these political and economic factors when considering entry into new markets. A thorough risk analysis is essential to understand the potential challenges and opportunities. This assessment should be an ongoing process, as conditions can change rapidly. Developing robust strategies to mitigate potential risks is therefore essential. This might involve diversifying investments, securing political risk insurance, or building strong local partnerships. Proactive risk management is a cornerstone of successful international business. Navigating international business regulations is a continuous and dynamic process. The global regulatory landscape is constantly evolving, influenced by political shifts, economic developments, and societal changes. Businesses must remain vigilant and adaptable to these ongoing transformations. For success in this complex environment, several key requirements stand out. First, companies must conduct thorough research into the specific regulations of each market they intend to enter. This includes understanding local laws, cultural nuances, and enforcement practices. Second, seeking expert advice from legal and financial professionals specializing in international business is invaluable. These experts can provide critical insights, help interpret complex regulations, and guide companies through compliance procedures. Their knowledge can prevent costly mistakes. Third, maintaining adaptability to changing regulatory environments is paramount. Regulations can be introduced, amended, or repealed with little notice. Businesses must be agile enough to adjust their strategies and operations quickly to remain compliant and competitive. Ultimately, compliance is not merely a legal obligation, it is a fundamental requirement for sustainable and ethical international business practices. Adhering to regulations builds trust with governments, partners, and consumers. It safeguards a company's reputation and ensures its long-term viability in the global marketplace.